the Pokemon card market is in a lot of pain as a whole. And what was supposed to be the #1 set of 2025 is the one that is experiencing the most backlash in terms of a price correction. If you're new here, my name is Rafael and I run an online TCG business, topshopcollectibles.com. And in this channel, I show you the ins and outs of running your own TCG business, as well as cover the market, trends, investing and collecting in TCG Pokemon as a whole. In this video, we're going to cover why Prismatic Evolutions is experiencing the price correction or crash that we are experiencing right now. I'm going to give you my insights as to what I believe it is happening here and how you can potentially take advantage of the situation. Before we get into that, in order for us to understand what really is happening with Prismatic Evolution, we need to take a look at what Prismatic Evolutions is as a set. What we know about Prismatic Evolutions is that it is a set with very hard pull rates. We also know that it doesn't have any IRs, it's full of SIRs, about 32 SIRs. And we also know that out of those 32, the entire lineup of the top cards out of Prismatic Evolutions is the Evolutions. But because of this, the odds of pulling an SIR out of Prismatic Evolutions is very hard. We also know that there is God Packs in the set. And again, pulling a God Pack is even worse of an odd than pulling a simple SIR. Now, there is Master Balls and Pokeballs in the set, and the Master Balls and Pokeballs I consider a hit. But in my opinion, I believe that anytime there is a variation of a double rare or a regular rare that just changes slightly because of a stamp or because of, like in this case, a Pokeball or Master Ball, it is a very risky single to look into investing in or to just buy at the beginning of a set that releases. These are cards that you should be very careful with. So now that we've set the baseline for Prismatic Evolutions, let me show you what the sealed products and some of the raw cards are doing right now. And right after that, we can get into more of the nitty-gritty of what we need to talk about and what I believe the set is going to do here in the near future. All right, so very quickly, let's go through these because you guys probably already seen them a million times. But what I basically want to put emphasis on here is that if you look at Prismatic Evolutions, since the beginning, we were looking at $120 or so. It hovered around $130 to $140 for a couple months, and now we're seeing it at a 26% drop in the last 3 months. Since the very beginning, since the moment Prismatic Evolutions hit the stores and hit the market, we are seeing it at the lowest point, $98.79. If we look at last sold for this ETB, it seems like some of them are selling for $89. I think it's more in the lines of $99 or so, once you include shipping. But this ETB has taken a massive hit in terms of pricing. Moving on to the bundle, is experiencing a very similar situation. As you can see here, this is when it first was released. It was upwards of $90 to $100. Of course, it's always very high at the very beginning. It settled down around the $74. As you can see, there's a massive amount of buying here happening. So in the following months, it kind of fluctuated between the $70 to like $80. But right now, again, since the very beginning, since the release of the set, we are seeing it at its lowest point that it's ever been. This is for the Prismatic bundle. We look at the singles for Prismatic. Umbreon EX, of course, is the one that ran up the highest in terms of value for the set. So it's getting hit the hardest in terms of the value where it is now. We were looking at $1,600 at the very beginning of the set releasing. And as you can see, it has been slowly going down for the following months after release. But now you can see a more steep decline towards the bottom, and again, it's at its lowest point it's ever been. And trust me, I still think that this card is overpriced at $1,150, or as you can see here, $900 near mint in 85. It seems like last sold, let's see what last sold says, $989 today, actually 66. About $1,000 is what this card is looking at right now. And again, it's a 25% drop. The Sylveon is doing something similar, not as bad as the Umbreon. This Sylveon, in my opinion, is holding its ground a lot better, but it did see a very sharp decrease right after release. And then it saw a very sharp increase to 560 on a couple, April, that's a month ago. And now it's going back down. So it has had its fluctuations, and this is why I believe that singles are very risky to be in if you're trying to invest because of these fluctuations, especially right after a set release. In my opinion, if you're looking into picking up singles for like an investing type of thing, you should be waiting at least 4 months or between 4 to 6 months for the price to correct and find its middle point before you can start getting in and investing in these cards. Here's the Espion EX, and as you can see, same concept. It's down 20% in the last 3 months, and since the very beginning, this one ran up all the way to 400. It hovered around the 400s, and now we're seeing it down to very close to where it was at the very beginning of release, in the 300s. And in my opinion, this card, it's still very overpriced. I still think it's gonna have a little more pullback in terms of the pricing here in the near future. We are seeing sales of around 330, 299 or so. And this is the SPNEX. So we're looking at the Lithium, same concept, still massive drop. This one only has seen an 8% drop in the last 3 months, 6 months. Again, right after release, skyrocketed and then it's back down. A lot of fluctuation with these singles in Prismatic Evolutions. Here's the Master Ball, and what I was talking about, Master Balls and Pokeballs. You can find this same exact card in a double rare, or it might have been a regular rare, and then you have a Pokeball variation, and then you have a Master Ball variation. Every time you have a card like this, when people can find another one that is just, the difference is the Master Ball versus the Pokeball is like $3, by the way. You know, why would somebody go and pay, unless you're master starting to say, why would you pay $90 for a card that you can be satisfied with a regular rare or a Pokeball that is way cheaper than this one? So this one is seeing a massive decrease in price. It's 44% in the last 3 months and 63% since the very beginning. It was going for $300. I saw this at the very beginning when Prismatic came out, and I said, this is in no way. People were grading this Master Ball Umbreon. People were sending it to PSA and, you know, creating more value out of the card. And in my opinion, this was just not a card that I foresee it getting into the valuable aspect of the set. Okay, so as you can see, massive price corrections in the entire Prismatic Evolution set, sealed and singles. And there's a couple reasons why I believe this is happening right now. The number one reason I believe this is happening is due to the fact that people have been paying outrageous amount of money, double and triple MSRP, for quite some time now. And this is also known as buyer fatigue. And this is a conversation that I've had with friends that are in the TCG community as well. And the buyer fatigue concept came to fruition while having these conversations. And essentially what it is that, if you remember correctly, Prismatic Evolutions came out back in January of this year, right? So it's been several months. But before that, TCG Pocket came out in October of last year. Right after that, it was Surging Sparks. When that came out, when Surging Sparks hit the streets, Prismatic Evolutions was already available for pre-order. So people were already thinking that, or knowing that Prismatic Evolutions was coming. So there was already a hype being created right then and there. So we can effectively say that the bull market started right when Surging Sparks hit, not per se specifically for Surging Sparks alone, but because we already knew that Prismatic was coming, right? It was already announced. We already know months ahead that Prismatic was going to come. So that puts us at about 8 months of this bull market that we've been in so far. So buyer fatigue essentially means that people are now starting to get tired of having to pay double and triple MSRP for brand new sets that just released. We have done it for several months now. People cannot find product online because of bots. People cannot find product in store because of resellers. And we're getting to a point that after 8 months of set over set, people are starting to feel that they are no longer willing to pay the $120 to $140 ETBs for a brand new set that just came out, just because ripping that open doesn't give you that what value that you will get out of an ETB, out of a bundle anymore, because it's just too much. Now, remember, there's a lot of new people that came into the hobby when TCG Pocket came out and when Surging Sparks came out. And, you know, like I said, Prismatic Evolution was already in the back burner. And so all of these people started to buy whatever they could to rip and to start the collections. But it took several months for them to learn that this is not okay and this is not normal. Paying double MSRP for brand new sets is usually not normal. It's a temporary thing, and it usually happens during the market. It happened in 2020 and it's happening right now. So we have reached a point in time and in the market where people are starting to get tired of paying these prices, and therefore what happens when people don't want to pay? The resellers, the people that are cleaning out the store, the people that are buying everything online, have to drop their prices to a lower level where people can actually be willing to pay it, and they start to undercut each other. And then we have what we're seeing right now with a lot of sets, because this is not just happening with Prismatic Evolution. This is happening with several different sets. Now, there's some underlying sets that are actually going up, that are doing the opposite, right? And those are far and few. But in my opinion, buyer fatigue It is 100% something that is happening right now, and we can see it with the market and the way that things are going right now. The second thing that I think is happening right now as well, it applies specifically to Prismatic, and that is the Costco bundles are starting to hit online. I am recording this on June 6th, Friday. You're probably going to watch this video on Saturday, the 7th. But as of today, several different Costco's and a lot of people online are already getting their hands on these bundles, and they have been since the very beginning of the week. And so with the amount of product that is showing up in Costco and all these bundles, it's causing a lot of price correction in the Prismatic set as a whole. And it's not the quantity that is being printed. It is actually the price at which Costco is selling. And, you know, like they always do, because they're a wholesaler, it is very aggressive, and it's a very good deal for a lot of people that have been wanting to get their hands on Prismatic Evolutions. I mean, these bundles are going for like $60 for one ETB and one bundle. That is a really good, amazing deal, especially if you haven't been able to get your hands on any Prismatic. This is the best time to be able to try to get to a Costco and get Prismatic into your hands for a very good price, because like I said, $120 to $130 for an ETB, you rip it open, you get nothing. It's a very frustrating thing. So when you have the amount of value that there is in this Prismatic ETB and bundles showing up at a Costco like that, a lot of people flock to do that, definitely causing the set as a whole, including the singles, to correct. Now, I do believe that this correction is temporary, right? I do believe that the set is fairly new, and I do believe the Pokemon Company, because of the demand, they're going to continue to print it in the years to come, maybe a year and a half or so. It's going to come in different auxiliary products, and I've said that before in different videos. So here's where I think there is a potential for a investing play. If you can get your hands on any MSRP or Costco pricing bundles, by all means, you can rip it, right? Because like I told you guys before, the best price to pay for product to rip is MSRP. Now, if you're looking for an investing play and you really don't want to go to a Costco, spend that time, maybe you work a 9 to 5, you just don't have the time to go and try to fight people over these bundles, just wait it out. And I can guarantee you that resellers that somehow have a way to get more than the limits at Costco, there's always people that have a way to get more. They're going to start to put these on your local Facebook market, and these are going to start to go down in price because they will want to move them. I can guarantee you the next week, if you look at your Facebook market, you're going to see them start to drop down, and you may be able to negotiate a lot of these bundles, Prismatic bundles, on the Facebook market. Now, a lot of people don't like to pay reseller pricing because that's just feeding them into doing it again, and it just doesn't. The truth is, there's really no way. You would have to have a massive effect on the community to be able to stop it, and the only person or people that could do that is Pokemon Company themselves. They could put measures in place to avoid this from happening, but the odds are that it's very hard to stop it, and it's been happening for over 25 years. You as a collector or investor can look at the bundles next week. If they are $100, $100 to $110, if you put the math, $65 and $35 for an ETB and a bundle, that is a really good price to get into Prismatic and hold sealed for the long term. And in my opinion, it will not even be that long of a wait. You may be able to see the price to correct back up to where the market believes that Prismatic should be in 6 months, right? Because let's be honest, it is Evolutions, it is Eevee, Prismatic, everybody is already talking about it. It's set to be one of the best sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. It is a specialty set. It has been very limited. A lot of people want to get their hands on it. A lot of people are holding it. A lot of ripping shippers have been ripping it. A lot of ripping shippers consider Prismatic their top 1 or 2 and the most ripped packs out of their ripping chips. And so with all of that, I see Prismatic Evolutions a very well-positioned set to be a long-term product to hold in the years to come. Me personally, I will be looking at Facebook Market to pick up a couple of these bundles. Once I see that the price is starting to get to a price where I want to pick them up, I'll be picking them up and holding them long-term. Again, I'm not telling you to go spend your life savings on these bundles. What I'm telling you is, after you spend your bills and your responsibilities are met, then you can put a couple $100 into buying a couple of these bundles. And if you hold them, you will be set. Worst case scenario, you pick up a couple of these bundles, Pokemon Company decides to reprint it right after the Mega Evolution era starts, and the prices go back down, and now you can find them at Target and Walmart, and you pick those up, and now you average down the price that you paid for the bundles. And like I said, it's a long-term play, and it's a play that has its risks, right? But you can pick these up at MSRP. It's a great bundle to pick up and rip. If you're trying to invest, it's a great bundle to invest in, and you really don't have to go and waste your time at Costco. You can pick it up at the Facebook Market. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, consider giving it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and check us out at topshopcollectibles.com. I run sales every 2 weeks or so. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at topshop_collectibles for news, events, giveaways, and a lot more that we do over there. As always, stay positive, keep your head up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.